Greetings, friends. This channel is called Nonconformist Radio 2, and some years ago he commented positively on my video, The Problem with Pantheism. And I did see some of his videos, and he seems like a genuinely sincere guy, a young man with a lot of energy. But I can see, of course, he's into Gnosticism. So he's in a completely different worldview than my own. So I can't really say that I would have an interest in watching his stuff. But from time to time, I've checked in on his videos. But I have to say that this direction he's going in is very troubling to me. Because he's got this video here, hatred and anger is good. So I mean, I think that someone from my church told me, he said, if you have hatred or anger, then you're welcome at Satan's table. Like anyone who has hatred and anger, they're welcome to sit at Satan's table. He's happy to have you there, if that's the case. So let's hear what he has to say.
All of the subscribers and viewers that I have, I think he deserves it just as much. So I encourage you to go check out Gnostic Antinatalist and do the right thing and support him.
Okay, he's giving a shout out to a channel called Gnostic Antinatalist. Now antinatalist, is that what I think it is? Is that like, oh, don't have kids? Like, oh, this is so sad. Oh man, this is really, like, don't have kids. Embrace your hatred. Oh my goodness, what is the world coming to?
Goodness proper is a perpetual pleasurist of benevolence and compassion exclusively. Goodness proper is thought par excellence. It is a sublime mind.
First of all, his demeanor is like uncomfortably intense. Like, it's not a positive way to come across.
And only capable of producing sublime things, which it cannot even fathom or comprehend such a thing as pain and suffering. It cannot compute. It goes into a state of malfunction and error, as if you're going to it speaking a foreign language. And it will naturally have a repulsion. And if goodness was to be in a situation where it was oblivious to all of the things that happen in this earth realm, and then it brought it down here and it says, feast your eyes.
I don't know what he means by goodness. Goodness? Vaguely? What is goodness? There's the person of the Godhead. There's Jesus Christ. He's the truth incarnate. There's him, but there's no vague goodness that can come in and have like, how can a vague principle have awareness? A person has awareness.
It would immediately experience something that is uncharacteristic of its nature, and that is the emotion of hatred. Hatred is an emotion where you become angry when evil is presented to you and you want to destroy it because your goodness, which is on a spiritual level, says that this is an abomination and it must be destroyed.
Yeah, but like, the abomination is ever present throughout this world. I mean, it's a fallen world, so we're presented with evil. Wherever we want to look, we can find evil in the world. So then are you just going to be angry at the world because there's evil in the world? And I believe that life can still be relatively good in a fallen world. I mean, you can come to peace with God in your own way. But this is a problematic view of anger, or There could be righteous anger, like Jesus flipping the tables of the money changers in the temple. But is he like, is the lesson of that story that he was carried away by some angry force, or was he just using force in a controlled manner to make his point known that what was going on there was wrong? I mean, yeah, so there's the other view of anger would be just letting the enemy win. I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, you're letting the not to use this. I think Star Wars is stupid, but you know, you're letting the dark side kind of win and just embrace that hatred. This is something that can be channeled for power. So there's certainly real power in anger and hatred, but this is the sort of power that will destroy your soul. It will destroy you. It'll lead you into hell. That's the real hell. Not the fact that you see evil in the world. That's not the real hell. The real hell is letting that into your soul, so that you will be concerned with, oh, the world is so evil. You'll be concerned with that and not of the transcendent beyond. So we are commanded to be, I believe, like in the world, but not of the world. So we go through the world, we navigate the world, but our sight is on the heavenly world, the heavenly kingdom. So we cannot let anger win in that sense. There is a sense of righteous anger when you need to discipline a child, when you need to discipline your people, because there's bad people in the world that do bad things there's an argument to be made for the stick, and the stick involves a kind of anger, I suppose.
And when you experience hatred, for those who tell you that hatred is an unhealthy emotion, I say quite the contrary. It is a healthy, rational emotion.
Maybe as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, yeah, maybe to some extent it's a healthy emotion as a young guy, but you're definitely supposed to get over that, because if you remain angry and hateful into your 20s, then this is no longer a healthy thing. This is something you're supposed to get through in your adolescence and grow up, because it's ultimately the feminine energy. And I'm just speaking generally. I'm not trying to, disrespect any particular person, but you have to grow up, and no one's perfect. I mean, I had to learn lessons too. Like when I was in my 20s, I believed probably weird, ideas that came from the feminine spirit too. So we all have, but you can see how this is a bad energy. You gotta go through this and get past this. Leave it behind.
I am a man filled with hatred, and all of my friends.
It's so cliche. I mean, I know it's like you're sharing your pain. Okay, that's fine. I guess it's good to express your pain, but I am a man filled with hatred, he says. I mean, without this being just the most angsty thing. Is that just the intention?
And if I was to ever have a significant other, she and they would be men and women of hatred.
I'm a man of hate, and if I ever had real friends or a real wife in the future, they would be men of hate and a woman of hate. This is what he's saying. This is crazy. This is insanity.
Hatred is a divine emotion because it comes from...
Like Gnosticism, it has no clear definition because everyone just uses it in different ways. There's different schools of thought. But I mean, generally you can see that there's this spirit of, I don't know if it's inversion or perversion. I don't quite understand. But he's just claiming divinity to like the darkest energy here.
Comes from divinity itself. Hatred is 100% necessary. You feel it.
He has his very like dominating way of talking. It's not chill. Maybe that's the point, I guess. But I'm not affected by his attempt at having a dominating demeanor. It's not having an effect on me. Maybe that has an effect on other people.
As a revulsion towards evil that is presented to you, and with righteous indignation, you become angry.
Yeah, he's openly embracing that, yes, I am righteously indignant. What kind of puritanical attitude is that? As if, like, that's not a new thing in history. We've had plenty of people with this kind of attitude before.
You become angry and you want to destroy the evil. But we live in a world where evil is so...
Yeah, we live in a fallen world. There's evil. Man, the evil is in our hearts. It's in our hearts. That's where it started in our worldview. In Orthodoxy, that's where it all began. And that's where it can change, and that's where we can move forward, at least in our own lives. We're not going to change the world. The world's going to be condemned. But that's okay.
Ubiquitous that it's impossible to kill it because it's fucking everywhere all at the same time.
Yeah, you can find your peace with that. That's the fallen world. I mean, things die, everything dies. Are we just gonna get angry and sad about that all the time? Oh, it's just there's so bad things everywhere. Like, what's the point of like dwelling on that?
So you are in a position where you are experiencing the divine emotion of hatred that comes from divinity itself, because your goodness on a spiritual level does not have the capability of even fathoming, even entertaining the idea that such a thing is even possible, yet it's all around you. And you feel this very intense emotion called hatred, and the world is trying to gaslight you and make you think that you're crazy, and make you think that if you feel hatred, you're basically giving that product of your hatred fuel to its fire. You're pouring gasoline on it and you're fanning the flames. And
I understand kind of where what he's talking about is like the New Age movement is all about like love, this vague love, and a lot of the millennial generation and Generation Z is that we're just completely incapable of having any aggression. It's almost like a neutralized generation. But I mean I see that, but you're just caught up in that thinking, like you're just reacting to them. The answer is not, oh, I'm just going to react against these stupid lovey-dovey New Age people and I'm going to affirm hatred to spite them. They're idiots. It doesn't matter what they think. No, he's more intellectually sophisticated. He's going in the route of a Nietzsche or someone like.
Flames. And I say no. To recognize something as evil and to have hatred for it means that you are worthy of my friendship, you are worthy of my respect, and I would take my shirt off of my back for you in a fucking heartbeat. And I would say, yes.
Yeah, but if you continue to hate, then you've let the enemy win. Throughout however many years of your life, you let him live rent-free in your head. And if it is causing you to stir at night, he won. You let him win. This is not only a Christian philosophy. I mean, like, I'm sure there's Eastern philosophies that would teach this same idea. That is not a compassionate heart. When you dwell upon hatred, which is like a poison, the desire that something else is either destroyed or suffers, or the desire that something else should be eradicated, it should not exist, which is, I mean, we should all say, yeah, there are things that should be eradicated, but to burn, to let that burn inside you is not healthy.
Your hatred comes from the right place. And you too, like I, have been born into this pornography, this fucking smut film, this vile, filthy degeneracy that's all around me at all times. And I hate it, and I fucking despise it, and I would kill it in an instant if I could, with no remorse whatsoever.
And you can't help but express it. He's raging against this thing that he doesn't like, but then, I mean, through his demeanor and the way you can look into this guy's eyes and you can hear his tone, I mean, that whole degeneracy and what he calls this, like, this smut film, it's coming out right here. I'm not saying just by swearing. It's by I mean, you can just see that the guy is affected. It's affected deeply by this. So I don't buy rejecting the evil in the world. But I'll just hate it. I'll hate it and I'll embrace that. So this guy goes on for 31 minutes, but we're not going to watch the rest of this. I think we've seen enough. Hasta luego, amigos.